And welcome into the Week 13 edition of Top Dawgz College Style. I'm Mark Zinno. He's Jeremy Conn. Thanks for watching here on Pickdawgz YouTube. And you guys catch us every week right here on Thursday for the Top Dawgz College Edition. Don't forget to check out Top Dawgz NFL, which comes out on Fridays. Make sure you guys check that out as well. You know the format here, 5 games, a show best bet. Lots of great info for you guys. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button so you're alerted every single week when this show pops up. As well, smash the thumbs up. Last week, Jeremy, we gave out freemiums. So if you drop me a DM on Twitter, I'll give out more freemiums this week. And the freemium I gave out cash, which was the Georgia-Texas first half under 24.5. So, so thank you. I had a really good week in college last week, 6-2 between Friday and Saturday.
It was weird. I didn't have a bad week in college, but I felt like I did because my top 3 plays all got blown out. I don't know the last time that's happened to me. I like Texas. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I loved TCU. I thought they were going to knock off BYU, and BYU came in and beat their brains in. I was right about McAllister. I think he caught, 2/3 of the passing yards that Hoover had. So it's just a crazy game. And then the other one was Duke. They, again, same thing they did before, Mark.
Yeah, I know. Not good.
Drive all the way down the field and screw it up, and then all of a sudden fall apart.
Well, that's why they're a basketball school, not a football school. So, but again, if you hit me up on Twitter, drop me a DM, I will send you guys the freemium play or shoot me a tweet, whatever the hell you call it, and I'll do it again this week because I'm a kind, generous, loving soul, and people don't give me enough credit for that.
Send them an X message.
Okay.
Is that what? I don't know.
X. DMX, yeah.
Well, that was just DX. DMX is something different.
Oh, DX.
He's the guy that sings Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
He is?
You didn't hear him rap that?
No.
That's a must-watch. Like, that's a must-see, or at least listen to.
I'm more in tune with Dominic the Donkey.
Yeah.
Jingity Jing. Dominic. My son Dominic loves that song.
I bet he does. I hate Christmas music with a passion.
Are you really?
It's the worst crap in the world.
Already listening to it.
So, look, 2 reasons why. The people that run our sister station here in Baltimore, they run music for Christmas music since Thanksgiving. So it's coming up, and then they steal all the ratings at the end of the year because everybody listens to it. There's nothing new. There's nothing original. It's just rehashed crap.
Yes, true, but I still enjoy it. You're the mean one, Mr. Grinch.
You know, but I get it too. You still have kids, so maybe now that I hated it when my kids were young. You ain't getting me. I am a mean one. You little bastards, you're getting nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Coal for you. All right. By the way, quick little note. I haven't told you this yet, but I'm gonna let you know this because right now I'm gonna let the audience know. I'm gonna be in Baltimore Army Navy weekend.
Oh, we have to link up.
We do. I was maybe gonna, meander by your station at some point.
Okay. I thought you need a place to crash, or you already got that set up.
Well, in your arm, the only place I'd want to crash.
Yeah. Well, I can dream about you.
I get to be.
I can't hold you tonight.
Yes, thank you, Dan Hartman. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. So if you guys are in the Baltimore area, link up with me and Jeremy. Good way to go. All right, let's get it started here with our 5 games this week. A lot of interesting action. And by the way, the College Football Playoff Committee sucks. Those people are that's neither here nor there. Louisville and SMU. This game will have massive impacts on the who's going to play in the ACC championship game. SMU still in line for that, has a possibility at mathematically at 5-1 in ACC play. Louisville season is pretty much over at this point in time. So regardless, but interesting spot here for Rhett Lashley and the Mustangs. I lean SMU, particularly here at home. I know it's a short number, but this is a SMU team. When their offense is clicking, man, they're really good. I mean, if you look, they put up 35 on Stanford. They beat Miami. They dropped 45 last week. This is an offense that can score, but they've had some really weird game. The Wake Forest game, a game that I was on Wake Forest, a game they shouldn't have lost. I really think this boils down to, when you look at it, what can the Louisville defense do against SMU? And this is a defense that's statistically 16th in FBS and total yards per game. They're really good against the run. They're also equally good against the pass. But SMU is 6th in FBS and a plus 11 over margin. Now, I don't know if you're the type of guy that plays against that and goes, they can't continue to be that lucky and continue to get turnovers. But if they do, it puts them at a distinct advantage here. But I trust SMU's offense. And I've always thought all year long that Louisville was a little bit fake. SMU's one big thing is that they're second in FBS and red zone defense. They only allow opponents to score on 65.8% of the red zone trips. That's critical, especially for a Louisville offense that, I don't know. I kind of got turned off to Louisville. What was the game that I had? The Miami game. No, it wasn't. Sorry, the Virginia game. When I had them against Virginia and they lost at home in OT.
Didn't Virginia get 2 defensive touchdowns in that game or something goofy?
Something good. I'll check right now. Hold on. Yep, 47-yard interception return for a touchdown. It was one of them. So that was a big part of it. Oh, yeah, and a 61-yard fumble return. Yeah, you're right. They did get it. So I don't know.
Because I was on Louisville that day too. So
yeah, and I did not win. So they've lost 2 in a row. Feels like it clearly is what feels like a must-win spot for Louisville, but they're out of the college football playoff picture at this point with 3 losses, and they don't have a chance to get into the ACC championship game, so they're playing in the ReliaQuest Car Care Bowl later on this year. I don't know what their motivation is after losing the last 2. Not that I think they'll mail it in, but clearly, again, SMU has a lot more to play for here at home.
I feel like at the end of Billy Madison where he just looks over and goes, he's good. Like you just said everything that I would have said, and I'm not trying to be lame of just co-signing on everything you put out there, but like, how can you not like this spot? It's the right spot for SMU. And as you pointed out, I do think I've been wondering this all year long because I think Virginia is a little phony, and watching Louisville now, I think they're a little phony as well. I think SMU wins in this spot. I mean, they lost early, rattled off a couple of wins. I think it's the right spot for SMU.
Yeah. I just, this may be a game where if you find a money line like at less than 140, I would just ignore the points and take SMU on the money line. Don't live with the headache having to try to win by a field goal because I don't think SMU is going to blow them out. Louisville's certainly going to be competitive, but I'd probably play the money line here with the Mustangs. And if you're in that world where you find a little bit of a bigger favorite to money line parlay it with, find a friend, and you might be able in a good enough spot here where you can get even money on a money line parlay, which is never a bad thing that I look to do in college a lot. Didn't work last week when Bama blew that damn game. I had a USC. That was one of my losses last week. USC Bama money line parlay, and Bama decided 3 turnovers and giving up 17 points off of turnovers, including a pick 6, was the way to go. So nonetheless here, but SMU for me is the side. I don't know if it'll make the card yet, but I feel strongly about SMU.
I do too. I think it's going to be on my card, to be honest with you. So freemium.
Another game inside the top 25 here. Number 22, Missouri. Number 8, Oklahoma. OU laying a fat number here at 7.5, in my opinion. Here's the problem, for me at least. OU is in a massive letdown spot, right? They have it's not really a rivalry game with LSU on deck, but nonetheless, a way to finish off this season 10-2. They're certainly motivated to continue to stay in the college football playoff discussion. They won't be in the SEC championship game discussion, so that's not part of this. But I would look at this spot here as a little bit of a letdown for OU, given they were fairly fortunate last week. And if there's anything that I believe in Missouri, it's their offense, but they haven't exactly shown up to play offense on the road this year. They got lucky against Auburn on the road, only scored 10 points. Jeremy, if I told you this was just their 3rd road game this year.
Seems crazy.
Sorry. It's the second to last week of the season. It's their 3rd road game this year. So it's hard for me to trust them, but I think the problem is that their one strength is the offense, and the one strength for Oklahoma is their defense. I'm not liking 7.5 here at all. I don't know. It's a tough game with a tough number.
this is, as you said, the perfect letdown spot. And no, this isn't me telling you Oklahoma loses this game. As you pointed out, it's the strength of their team on that defensive side of the ball up front. It's going to be a great matchup to watch, but you want to see if Ahmad Hardy can kind of get things going early, because he's one of the best running backs in football. But this is going to be a nice little test for him going up against this Oklahoma front. I think Oklahoma probably wins the game, but 7.5 just looks like too much to me in this spot.
Where there's no Prabula in this game, he's still hurt, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard about him coming back. I think he might be out until like bowl games.
Yeah, Matt Zellers is started last week. They still put up 49 points against Mississippi State, which, again, it's not a great defense, so I certainly understand that. But crazy, because Missouri only held on to the ball for 23-plus minutes in that game and still managed to put up 49 points. So they had two one-play scoring. One of them was a pick six, but their scoring drives were 5 plays, 4 plays, 5 plays, 2 plays, 4 plays, and 1 play. I don't think they're going to have that level of success against Oklahoma here. I just don't think all the way over a touchdown. That's my problem.
To point what you're talking about, it seems like there was a lot of pitch and catch in that game, and not necessarily. And I'm not trying to demean the quarterback. Has a great game. I'm not sold on him necessarily being the guy. I think he's good enough to keep him in this game. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be more, in my opinion, it's a better game to watch than to bet. Yeah. Although I do think you're catching too many points with Missouri.
Yeah. And look, the total is 42. This goes back to one of these things that we talked about, where I think the over correlates with the dog, because that means Missouri can score. But it's such a low total for me here. It would tell me that Missouri can't. I mean, if Missouri's scoring early, I don't think Oklahoma can play catch up. That's the deal. Like, this is one of these games where I would play Missouri in the first half and take the 3.5. I think their best chance is to get into this game early. I don't see a script where Oklahoma's up, 14-3 at halftime or 13-3 at halftime, and all of a sudden Missouri comes charging back against this defense. Like, Alabama couldn't do it. Granted, Alabama again beat themselves, but that's what it's going to take. Like, if Oklahoma doesn't beat themselves with turnovers, I have a hard time believing Missouri can get into this thing. Missouri first half kind of interests me a little bit. I think that's their only shot to stay close in this game. I could see it being a, 10-7 game at half in favor of Missouri, and Oklahoma comes back and ends up winning the thing, 24-13, and they end up covering the number, right? Like,
yeah,
it's one of those weird spots where I'd probably rather cut the game in half. So that's just kind of the way I dissect the game. But
well, I feel like you've had a good eye for that this year with the first half, some of the calls you've had. I don't typically break things down and bet first half, second half, unless there's something I'm seeing live. It's not, but like, I get how you look at it and see it, and I think it's the right play in this. If I like Missouri for the game, I'm obviously going to like them in the first half, but I think the thought process and game script kind of plays out.
Right, and that's what it boils down to, game script here. I mean, Missouri has to get a lead and force Oklahoma to play catch-up. That's the only way they stay in this game. I don't think against that defense they're built to come back, especially with a backup quarterback. If Prabula was in, the starting quarterback for Missouri, I might have a little bit of a different feeling on it. I also don't think you'd be getting 7.5 points. I think it would be under a touchdown. I think that's ultimately what the difference would be. It might be 6.5, and now you're going, okay, there's a world where, it might be 6. There's a world where I could see Oklahoma winning the game 23-17, right? And that makes sense to me. So tough spot to call here. All right, out west we get Oregon and USC. The Ducks laying 9.5 here in a game where they took care of business last week against Oregon. I had Oregon in the first half minus the 9.5 on Friday night. That was a cash winner for me as well. Look, what pops into my head here is this: like, my first initial thought was this was the same number that USC was catching against Notre Dame on the road in a game where USC definitively should have covered the game. Probably could have won it outright if Lincoln Riley wasn't a putz and stopped giving up points and field goal attempts for no reason early in the game. He did it like 3 or 4 times. I was like, dude, what are you doing? So anyway, I felt like, okay, Oregon on the whole, theoretically, is equal to or maybe even less than Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame's really high power rated by odds makers. They really, really are.
They have such a strong running game and their defense is solid.
Yeah, and so odds makers like that. So I'm getting a sort of lesser team in Oregon laying the same amount of points. I'm like, okay, so it's USC. But then I started to think a little more, and I'm like, it's same handicap we had. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago with Texas Tech against BYU when they were laying 9.5, and all of a sudden they blew them out, asking a team to go on the road in a place, Autzen, where Oregon doesn't lose very often. Last time I checked, Oregon lost a game at home earlier this year to Indiana. I don't think they're going to let that happen again. Now, granted, the last two opponents they played at home were Wisconsin and Minnesota, not exactly offensive juggernauts, but Jordan Mailata and Mekhi Lemon are going to be a handful for the Oregon defense as far as the USC passing game is concerned. My biggest concern here would be backdoor more than anything else. And I know, Jeremy, you're a big fan of the backdoor. But that said, I don't want to get into personal life, but that's what I would worry about here, that it is a, 13, 14-point lead and USC scores a late touchdown to get through the door and cover the number from a game script standpoint. USC's defense still has a lot of problems. They're leaky, as you would say. When you play Iowa, is not a great offense, sure. When you play Northwestern, it's not a great offense, sure. When you play a good offense like Notre Dame, guess what? You're going to have problems catching up. And even Nebraska, like you look at other than Notre Dame, the last 4 or 5 weeks of offenses that they've played, right? I just mentioned Iowa, Northwestern, Nebraska, not great. Michigan, not great. Illinois, I don't think their offense is that great. They lost that game, but they also gave up 31 to Michigan State and Aiden Chili's, who's god awful. That was the other game we got wrong this week, was trying to think that Michigan State would show up and beat Penn State after a letdown spot. But nonetheless, yeah, it was gross. I'm going Oregon here. I'll give you a freemium. This is going to make my card. Oregon minus 9.5. I would not be surprised, by the way, to see this number hit 10 or 10.5 before kickoff.
Yeah, look, I agree with pretty much everything Mark said on this one. Again, I think the number's telling you a lot about it, and I don't think Oregon's going to have any issue scoring on USC's defense, and I think this Oregon defense can get stops. I love the passing game. I mean, I love the running game for USC, but I think Oregon's defense is legit. And even when Indiana came in, look, you look at the matchups that you have here. I think maybe you didn't expect what came in and you overlooked them a little bit. I can't see them losing 2 games at home. And on top of it, I just think this is one of those games where they're trying to show out for everyone to see them, that they wouldn't mind running up the score here a little bit.
Right. I mean, and I tell you what else I'm going to do here in this game more than anything else, because it was about 2-3 weeks ago, I dropped a future on 2 teams in the Big Ten to make the college football playoff, Michigan being one and USC being the other. Knowing that if those 2 teams at that point ran the table, I think they were 6-2 at the time. If they ran the table, they were going to get in. One of the 2 of those teams was going to get in. So I'm definitively going to play Oregon here just to hedge that bet a little bit, because if USC loses, obviously a third loss is not getting them in the college football playoff, not the Big Ten. And if they win, my future is still alive. So there's a world here where Oregon is going to make me some money this week, regardless. And the real matchup is in the Oregon's number 1 pass defense against the 3rd-ranked offense of USC. I mean, that's. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think everything you said kind of applies to it, right? Like when you're thinking about that, includes game theory, everything that can possibly happen with this. It's what we're going to see in this matchup. You're going to see Oregon come out and kind of handle business. The one way that you could lose this game, in my opinion, is that goofy backdoor. But I think they have to show out, or at least they want to, like as a statement game for the playoffs, because of their resume as well. I mean, I think they probably get in more than likely, because the SEC and the Big Ten are kind of dominating this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, between those 2 conferences, they're getting 8 teams in, right? Do the simple math. 4 from just 8 between, Big Ten and SEC. Notre Dame is 9, ACC champ is 10, Big 12 champ is 11, and Group of 5 is 12. I mean, that's the math for the college football playoff. I don't see any other math working out. It kind of just depends. And same thing for Michigan. If they knock off Ohio State at home, by the way, next week, guess what? they're going to be in the college football playoff. That's the reality for Michigan. So I just kind of look at this game right here and see the number and go, I don't think Oregon's going to lose this game at home. And I do think, however, USC can play catch up, right? They can beat you down the field. They can beat you against Oregon. It's very, very tough. But, and the thing about USC on the road, remember, here's the one other thing. They struggle when they have to come east, but this game happens to be where, Jeremy? In the same Pacific time zone that they're in. So
they're still coming east though, right?
North.
Yeah, but is it straight above it?
I mean, I didn't really know if the geography listened to the lines of latitude and longitude.
I was just saying they still had to come over east, so technically it's shut up. Anyway.
Exactly. Shut up. That's what it boils down to. But we're both on Oregon here in this game. The numbers tell me all I need to know. Huge game in the ACC here between Pitt and Georgia Tech. The loser of this game will likely be eliminated from the college football playoff in any size, way, shape, or form. Probably a little bit of a better path for if Georgia Tech loses and somehow they knock off Georgia. There may be more of a statement for them to get in here. But Pittsburgh at 5-1 in the ACC, Georgia Tech at 6-1. Game on the flats here at Bobby Dodd, and a 2.5-point spread and a huge total at 61.5. Georgia Tech had a little bit of a sweat last week with BC. Well, technically, I guess a lot of a sweat with BC in a road game there after losing to NC State. So Pitt, obviously, Notre Dame was one of my easiest winners last week. When Pat Narduzzi, the head coach of Pitt, decided to tell the world, I don't care about this game, we could lose by 100. Yeah, that was my signal to go bet on Notre Dame. Thanks, Coach. Well. Thanks, Coach. Thank you for the tip that you absolutely were going to do nothing to try to win that game. So, but I mean, look, logically, he's not wrong. You just don't say it out loud, you douche. Like you just don't say that. You say that after the game. Hey, it didn't matter that we lost. Everything we have is still in front of us. You say it after the game, not going into the game, dumbass.
Well, it helped you out. It's not that stupid.
Yeah, well, it made it easy on me, that's for sure. Obviously, points are expected in this one. I lean Georgia Tech here, but a couple of sharp guys I've talked to already said, no, I like Pitt. I'm like, Pitt on the road? Does that mean we don't believe in Georgia Tech?
I don't know, man. Like what we saw from them at BC, I mean, they got out by the skin of their teeth there. And this is one of those games where I think it might come down to who has the ball last, because my favorite play in the game would be the over. People are going to look at that number and go, really, that high? Yeah, when Georgia Tech's running game gets cooking, I mean, they're moving downhill. And I don't think Pitt's going to have any problems getting the ball to Pop, Reed, whoever, and scoring some points in this game as well. So I like the over, but I do think if you were taking the side, I would lean more towards Pitt, and that breaks my heart because I want to see Georgia Tech win the ACC.
I mean, here are Pitt's road wins: at Stanford, at Syracuse, at Florida State, and they lost to West Virginia on the road in the backyard brawl in overtime.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, why would I play Pitt here? I don't. If it was like closer to a touchdown, if it was 4.5, and I got a little bit more breathing room over a field goal, right? You bet numbers, not teams, right? I mean, under a field goal, it's really hard for me to take Pitt here. It's really hard.
I think it's the right side.
You do?
Yeah, I think Pitt's the right side. And I hate saying it because, again, I want to see Georgia Tech win, but you're talking about some of the sharp guys out there. When you're looking at some of the money coming in, where the line's at, is it going to move? Even being at 2.5, I think it's telling me everything I need to know about Georgia Tech because, I mean, you look at Pitt, as you said, they could be undefeated on the road, but a couple of those games were close as well. Could have went the other way. So I don't like playing the this or that game, but I just feel like they match up better with Georgia Tech. I think their offense is going to get popping.
If I get to the window on this game, it's going to be probably Saturday morning. I want to wait and see where the line moves and if it moves and where the money comes in, and I'll probably just follow the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Georgia Tech is losing a game at home. I think Georgia Tech was disrespected by the College Football Playoff Committee. Brent Key, the head coach of the Yellow Jackets, will use that as motivation for his guys that they're continually being disrespected. The problem, I mean, I wish Pitt would have actually tried to play a football game last week. right? Usually
Yeah.
after blowouts, there are teams that I like to play on, right? After you get blown out. But the coach told us he was willing to get blown out.
So you can't really count it in.
I can't really count that as part of the handicap because it doesn't add up for me.
Well, the other thing I want to say, I just want to make clear, like I think Pitt's the right side, but I'll be on the over. I'm not betting the side here. I just think both of these teams are going to score a ton.
All right, final game here, BYU at Cincinnati, where the Bearcats are catching 2.5 at home. I think if you followed me at all and have watched the morning wager at all, I kept telling you that, I've had enough of this BYU team and played against Texas Tech, had no problems there. Also had this game circled on the calendar because this is where BYU gets eliminated from the college football playoff when they lose this game at Nippert Stadium. Now, Cincinnati's at 5-2. I would check the tiebreakers, but if Cincinnati beats BYU, there's a chance they might be in the Big 12 championship game. They lost to Utah, so they lost tiebreaker there. But there's multiple teams that would end up at 6-2 in the Big 12. So
yeah, I'm not sure what the tiebreakers are, but I think
Cincinnati didn't play anybody else that's tied at 6-2 other than Utah, and they lost that game. So Arizona State, Houston, Utah all have a chance to be 6-2 as well. If Cincinnati wins, that means there is 5 teams at 6-2, provided that Utah, Houston, and Arizona State all win. So regardless, I don't know I think mathematically they're still alive. I'm not sure how it works, but I still like Cincinnati here. I don't think this BYU team is all that good. I think they've done it with smoke and mirrors all year long. Stayed off the BYU TCU game last week. Wanted to play. I told everybody BYU at night, like Provo at night. I don't bet against BYU, so I stayed off of it. But a lot of sharp people I knew were on TCU, including yourself. Yeah. I just don't think BYU is all that good. I really, really don't.
I'm going to be in the same boat as you, betting against BYU 3 weeks in a row. And it's not because my wife's been watching the Mormon Wives and God, everybody's just awful. But no, I just think it's the right spot with Sorsby here. And as you were talking about, they still have plenty to play for. This BYU team going on the road, they've had some really tough games in a row. And I didn't expect them to bounce back against TCU the way that they did. So they showed me something. So I think they are a good team. I just think Cincinnati at home, catching some points, it's the right spot.
I'm still mad at BYU for what they did to Jake Retzlaff.
Yeah.
Not nice. All the guy wanted to do was bump uglies, and he got thrown out of school for it.
Well, you're not allowed to. It's against rules, right? And regulations.
Yeah, I guess so.
How do they find out? The smell test?
Instagram? I don't know.
Yeah.
Monica Lewinsky? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, he went from BYU to Julane.
Oh, nice. That's very good. Well played.
I heard him give an interview. Like, yeah, Julane. So, nonetheless, I think Cincinnati's also a little bit undervalued, to be honest with you, Jeremy. I mean, I don't think they're a great team per se, but they've flown under the radar all year long in this spot, and the fact that they're in a chance here, to be in the Big 12 championship game tells me all I need to know. And you get a home dog here catching points, I'll be on Cincinnati.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's the right spot. I think it's going to be on my card as well.
All right, best bet time for Jeremy and I. And we are going to go to the American Conference here, where the Army Black Knights will host the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Shouldn't it be Canes?
I think so.
Army's laying 10.5 here, but you know what we're going to do, Jeremy?
What?
We're going to take Army's team total over 27.5. This is a bad matchup for Tulane, who is winless in the American. Army does one thing really well, and you know what that is, don't you?
What?
Run the football.
That would have been my first guess, but I didn't know if this was a trick.
Was not a trick question at all.
It's a military school, so I would assume that's what they do best.
The Tulsa Golden Hurricanes are 102nd in rush defense in the country. That's not good when there's only 134 teams. Army should be able to literally run all over them at home. And this is an Army team at home Despite struggling with Temple last week, they've been pretty good at home as far as scoring is concerned. Scored 38 against North Texas, and it's weird because this is just their 4th home game of the year. They've been on the road a lot, so obviously Army still has the Army Navy game, the Commander in Chief Trophy. That's all they're really playing for at this point in time. But a win for Army here does make them bowl eligible. And teams that are on that 5th win, I always like to play on. That motivation spot is huge for them.
Yeah, totally agree. And again, like when you were talking about this, this wasn't a game I was necessarily on. I love the thought process behind it and how it breaks down. And I feel like you got the right side of it too, especially looking at it's only going to help if Tulane's scoring some points here as well to keep them, obviously to keep them to try to score, because you don't want some blowout and somebody taking the air out of the ball. But even if that happens, I still think they can get 4 touchdowns.
Yes, and they don't kick a lot of field goals either. It's kind of like not Army's way. So they should be able to run all over Tulsa here and put up a bunch of points. And I think their defense is good enough to force a couple of turnovers and create some extra opportunities here. But Army over 27.5, officially the show best bet for us. All right, that does it here for Top Dawgz Week 13 College Edition. Again, go to our premium pages, get a 3-day package, get a 7-day package. I keep telling you guys, you put us together for a 3-day package, you combine the cappers, you're going to get a ton of plays from Jeremy and I over the weekend. And it's a really good value for both of us to get both of us together. So hit that subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to send me a DM. I'll send you a freemium. Actually, I'll send you one of Jeremy's freemiums. I'll make him tell me one, and I'll send that one to you instead. So this way, if it's wrong, I can blame him.
Cool.
And if it's right, I'll just take credit as if it was mine.
It's the best way to do it, Mark. It works out either way for you.
What kind of friends we are. So,
I win.
I'll see you in person soon.
All right, man.
Weekend down in Baltimore. Do us a favor again. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back next week. Enjoy all the games on Saturday. Good luck with all your bets. We'll talk to you next week.